In this podcast episode, Mikhaila Peterson shares her journey of overcoming chronic illnesses and depression through a strict diet of only ruminant meat, salt, and occasional vodka. She started experiencing various health issues from a young age, including juvenile rheumatoid arthritis and severe depression, which led her to be on anti-depressants from the age of 12. Peterson's health struggles continued into adulthood, leading her to drop out of university and pursue makeup school briefly before realizing the severity of her health issues. She underwent genetic testing, which revealed a predisposition to celiac disease, prompting her to cut out gluten from her diet. This initial change provided some relief, but it wasn't until she embarked on an elimination diet, cutting out all inflammatory foods except for meat, that she experienced significant improvements in her health. The elimination diet, which eventually evolved into the lion diet, consisting solely of beef, lamb, bison, and salt, helped alleviate Peterson's symptoms to the point where she was able to get off all her medications. Despite the unconventional nature of her diet, she believes that it can be effective for individuals with severe chronic illnesses, autoimmune disorders, psychiatric issues, and obesity problems. She emphasizes the importance of exploring alternative approaches to health when traditional medical treatments prove ineffective. She shares her experience of cutting out fruits, vegetables, and eventually transitioning to a diet consisting mainly of steak after listening to a Joe Rogan episode with Sean Baker. Peterson found that every time she tried to reintroduce certain foods, she experienced inflammatory reactions, particularly depression, arthritis, and skin issues. This led her to stick to a strict meat-based diet and avoid cheating on her diet. Peterson's journey highlights the transformative power of diet in managing and even reversing chronic illnesses. She acknowledges the skepticism surrounding her dietary choices, but stands by the positive impact it has had on her health and well-being. Through her own experience, she encourages others to consider the role of diet in addressing health issues, especially when conventional treatments fall short. When asked if her improvements could be attributed to a placebo effect, Peterson dismisses the idea, citing her severe arthritis that required hip and ankle replacements. She emphasizes the impact of environmental factors and the prevalence of autoimmune disorders in today's society, attributing it to the food and chemicals people are exposed to. Peterson recommends cutting out processed foods and questioning the consumption of dairy for the average person. She advocates for a paleo diet that includes healthy meats and whole foods. She believes that processed foods are highly addictive and can lead to cravings, making it challenging for individuals to transition to a healthier diet. Regarding veganism, Peterson expresses skepticism about its long-term sustainability and potential for causing muscle loss. She believes that veganism may not provide all the necessary nutrients that can be obtained from meat. She notes that vegan diets can initially make people feel better by eliminating processed foods and dairy, but warns against relying on processed vegan alternatives. Peterson shares her experience of preparing steaks using an air fryer, emphasizing the convenience and taste of cooking frozen steaks in the appliance. She recommends trying this method to achieve a better crust and overall cooking experience. She discusses her TEDx talk that was not published due to alleged violations of community guidelines. Peterson suspects that there may have been an agenda against her speech, possibly influenced by political or vegan propaganda. She highlights the lack of balance in the content posted by TEDx, suggesting a bias towards veganism and certain ideologies. Peterson reflects on the media's attempts to silence her and her father, Jordan Peterson, attributing a significant drop in views on their channels to AI algorithms suppressing their content. She recalls negative articles about her diet and lifestyle in 2018, but notes a decrease in such coverage as time passed and she continued to thrive on her meat-based diet. The conversation then shifts to the impact of negative media coverage on Peterson and her family. She shares how her father was targeted by a hit piece in a UK newspaper, which falsely portrayed him as controlling and manipulating his father, who was dealing with health issues at the time. Peterson reflects on how negative articles can affect one's livelihood and mental well-being, but also notes that in today's digital age, fewer people are paying attention to traditional media outlets. The discussion delves into the influence of billionaires on media publications and the spread of certain narratives. Peterson believes that many billionaires fund messaging that aligns with their beliefs and interests, often with the intention of doing good for the world. However, she also acknowledges the ego-driven aspect of this behavior, where billionaires may feel they know what is best for society. Peterson expresses her skepticism towards the mainstream medical system, citing the high rate of medical errors as the third leading cause of death. She believes that pharmaceutical companies play a significant role in shaping medical practices, and that doctors are financially incentivized to prescribe certain medications. She shares personal experiences with medications like anti-depressants and painkillers, highlighting the challenges of withdrawal and the limitations of pharmaceutical treatments. The conversation then turns to conspiracy theories, with Peterson discussing her beliefs about the lack of trust in government institutions and the medical system. She emphasizes the importance of questioning the information presented by these entities and encourages individuals to take control of their health through dietary changes and lifestyle modifications. Peterson predicts that in 100 years, society will look back on the current trend of gender transitioning in children as a controversial and harmful practice. She expresses concern about the long-term consequences of irreversible medical interventions on young individuals, and emphasizes the importance of informed consent and critical thinking in such decisions. The conversation continues with speculation about the future of technology and social media, with Peterson predicting a shift towards virtual reality and augmented reality experiences. She raises concerns about the impact of short-form content and social media on attention spans, suggesting that regulations may be necessary to protect younger users from potential harm. Peterson shares her own experience of discovering faith in God, which was influenced by her mother's miraculous healing from a rare cancer. This event made her reconsider her beliefs and eventually led her to read the Bible and develop a relationship with God and Jesus. She explains how this newfound faith has shifted her priorities from seeking success and wealth to valuing family and personal connections. She reflects on how her perspective on life and goals has changed, emphasizing the importance of trusting in God's plan and finding peace in knowing that things will work out eventually. The conversation then shifts to the dynamics of working with family and friends, with Peterson sharing her positive experiences in collaborating with her father on various projects. She contrasts this with her encounters with untrustworthy individuals in the business world, highlighting the challenges of finding genuine and reliable people. She expresses her belief in the value of long-term relationships and the importance of being cautious when forming new connections, especially in a professional setting. The discussion moves on to the topic of modern dating and the impact of dating apps on relationships. Peterson acknowledges the difficulties faced by both men and women in the current dating landscape, noting the risks and challenges associated with online dating. She suggests alternative ways of meeting potential partners, such as through shared interests or activities, and emphasizes the importance of being cautious and discerning when getting to know someone new. Peterson shares her thoughts on the potential for a personality-based dating app, drawing on her knowledge of psychology and personality traits. She explains how factors like extroversion, agreeableness, and neuroticism can influence compatibility in relationships, and discusses the idea of matching individuals based on their personality profiles. She believes that understanding and considering these traits can help in forming more meaningful and lasting connections in the dating world. The conversation delves into the concept of personality traits and how they can impact various aspects of life, including relationships and social interactions. Peterson explains the significance of traits like neuroticism and openness, highlighting how certain factors can be stable over time, while others may be influenced by external circumstances or personal growth. She shares her own experience of taking personality tests and observing changes in her traits, particularly in relation to her health and well-being. Peterson describes her husband as extroverted, entrepreneurial, and smart, with a unique combination of personality traits that matched hers. She emphasizes the importance of intuition in relationships, mentioning that she felt safe and comfortable around her husband, which played a significant role in their quick decision to get married. She also mentions that she tested her husband by sharing personal details and potential challenges in their relationship to see how he would react, and he was accepting and understanding. The conversation shifts to the dynamics of their relationship, including financial imbalances due to Peterson's successful business. She explains that she was financially secure before meeting her husband and wasn't necessarily looking for someone to provide for her. Instead, she valued his skills in negotiation and business management, which allowed her to delegate tasks and focus on other aspects of her work. She also talks about the importance of being able to work with her spouse and how their shared goals and communication style have strengthened their relationship. The discussion delves into the topic of honesty and communication in relationships. Peterson shares her experience of being overly polite and compassionate in her interactions, which sometimes led to misunderstandings or a lack of assertiveness. She mentions the importance of being honest and addressing issues that bother you in a relationship, even if it may be uncomfortable. She highlights the tendency for agreeable people to become resentful over time if they don't express their concerns, emphasizing the need for open communication. The conversation touches on the differences between being blunt and considerate in communication styles. Peterson acknowledges that being too blunt can come off as accusatory and alienate the other person, while offering constructive feedback can lead to better outcomes. She reflects on her own communication style and how she has learned to balance honesty with compassion to effectively convey her thoughts and feelings. Peterson also discusses the role of intuition in reading people's emotions and reactions during conversations. She shares examples of how she can sense discomfort or unease in others and adjust her approach accordingly. The conversation highlights the importance of empathy and understanding in communication, especially when dealing with different personality types and communication styles.